More on this. Let's go to Mike Baker. He's a former CIA covert ops officer and the president of Diligence, which is a global intelligence and security forum. Mike, I want to go to you on your background with the CIA. There are reports that the CIA actually warned of a possible attack. What kind of warning would the CIA put forward, and could this have been prevented from such a warning?
Well, I mean, typically these things are not specific. I mean, people might imagine, well, it was a warning, and so it gave a specific date, or it gave specific individuals or a methodology, actionable intelligence that the Spanish authorities could act on. That's, usually not the case. Usually it's more of an assessment, an analysis of all the bits and pieces of intel that come in from a variety of sources, human intelligence and signals intercepts and our liaison partners. And these warnings, these assessments, this sharing of concerns and analysis, that goes on all the time. So, people shouldn't be under the impression that, somehow 2 months ago or whenever the CIA gave them a report that said, Los Ramblas will be the point of an attack, in the very near future, and, these individuals might be responsible for it. It tends to be more broad, more vague than that. I mean, sometimes if you're lucky, yeah, it's actionable leads based on, collection and perhaps communications intercepts. But typically it's not as specific as people might imagine.
Difficult to follow, and of course we're seeing this type of attack repeated, and oftentimes the terrorists choose choke points, little areas that people have to sort of transit through. But I want to get to this. This is the first attack of large proportion in Spain in years, and we're also seeing a large migrant population. Do you think the two are related?
Well, sure, yeah. The open borders policy throughout the EU has essentially been a self-inflicted wound, and it's causing them a wide variety of problems at this point. Look, every nation, has the right, and most nations do, to try to understand to some degree, the people that are coming into their country. And, unfortunately, the policies they've had up, until this point in time, they create a variety of problems for those people who are charged with trying to keep the population in that country safe. So yes, there's definitely a direct correlation to that. And unfortunately, now what the EU is looking at, whether it's Spain or whether it's France, Germany, the UK, anywhere else, is large numbers of disaffected individuals who don't feel invested in their new homeland, and oftentimes that creates this pool of potential recruits for the jihadists.
I want to get to this real quick before we have to go. ISIS is claiming a responsibility for this attack. Do you think that there's evidence to support that claim? We know as ISIS has lost land in places like Iraq and Syria, they're pushing for more of these. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. From ISIS' perspective, they could care less whether, these people were committed, and actually there was a direct line to, members of ISIS in terms of coordination or provision of resources or money or communications. As long as an act is committed, it doesn't matter to ISIS. We tend to get wrapped around the axle over, was there this connection?
Yeah.
And in reality, from the jihadist perspective, whether it's an absolute religious zealot who firmly believes in the jihadist cause, or whether it's individuals who, for whatever reason, latch on, hey, it's a win if they commit an act of terror.
Well, hopefully we'll be able to get some clarity on that in the future. Thank you so much, Mike.
Sure. Thank you.